I would not advise any of my friends that are dating someone that's like being emotionally abused by them to stay in that. Same thing. If you feel like your mental health is taking a toll on you in your corporate environment, you have every right to formulate a plan and create the exit strategy and leave.
Welcome, you guys, to another episode of the Kickback with Keri podcast. I hope you guys have been enjoying these episodes. And if you have, please make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube because I see y'all liking these episodes, but y'all haven't been commenting. So please leave a comment. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you leave a rate and review. Today, y'all, we're talking about all about health and wellness. And given the times that we are living in, we need some guidance. We need some recommendations on how we can make sure we are taking care of our bodies and our minds. So today's guest is an integrative nutrition health coach. She is a pharmacist and a certified group fitness instructor. So Melanie Smith is going to get us all the way together. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to talk to you, one, of course, because Moves with Melanie, you were out here giving us all the tea on what we need to be doing, getting ourselves together, how to stay healthy. But I find your story inspirational because a year ago, you dived 2 feet in. Well, I remember you posted on LinkedIn, you're like, yep, I've been working on this corporate side, and now it's time to bet on me. So I wanted to dive into why'd you make the leap? What happened, girl? What happened was.
Where do we begin? I think a lot of it, it had been on my mind before COVID, but definitely during COVID when I was able to work from home for those 2 years and have the freedom to just kind of set my day the way that I wanted to, even though I was still working corporate, doing more things with corporate because, we were connected to the computer like constantly. But that's when I started taking my Zumba classes and I took them virtually. And I just got to have fun exploring with that, social media. I became a Pure Barre instructor during that time. Nice. And it just became very apparent that my passions no longer lay in corporate, pharmacy, all that stuff. They lay more into health and wellness, helping people out. Yeah. So in 2022, when we got our "you must come back to the office," I went through a little bit of period of depression. Yeah. I was like, this is not it. Like, I'm not the same person I was in 2020. I don't want to fit back into that mold. So how can I take what I'm now passionate about and make it into something I can do full time? So that's part of it. The other part is being a Black woman in corporate America. I got sick of just dealing with being a Black woman in corporate America, microaggressions, having to explain myself, having to work twice as hard to get half as far, all that stuff. So when it came to just the last battle that I had the energy to fight, I was like, you know what, Lord, if there's ever a time that I need to have faith, this is it. And I still felt like God was telling me, if you just leave this situation, I will give you something that's even better, even more abundant. You just got to trust me and, have the faith. So I did. I left in January of 2024. And I knew that I wanted to do fitness full time, but I also have all of these years of experience as a pharmacist. So how can I create something that is viable, sustainable, but still do what I want with my time? So I said, well, I've heard of this thing called health coaching. Maybe I can try that, and that'll still incorporate, the other side of health and wellness, but still use my pharmacy knowledge. So I went through a health coach certification program last year, got my certification. I officially changed my Instagram handle, Moves with Melanie, to Moves with Melanie and LLC, recognized by the state of Maryland. So
she's like, I did the paperwork.
We are official. We have a website.
Yes.
All
you
the
do.
things.
I've been on there.
we have all the things. And so now it's just having fun of just putting all of the pieces of the business together, educating the community, and seeing where this thing goes. So super excited.
So tell us about the 3 pieces, because I know Moods of Melanie, there are 3 pieces to your business. What are the 3 pieces that people can interact with you and work with you?
Yeah, so fitness instruction. So like I said, I teach Zumba, I teach Pure Barre, and then I also teach something called Barre Fusions, which is kind of like stretching, a combination of all the things. But really any sort of wellness movement activity you want to do for yourself, for a group. I do employee wellness activities. So that's one part. Then there's health coaching, which I like to call wellness workshops. So again, if you would like some sort of education for your team on your job as a part of a church activity, sorority activity, anything like that, topics include, identifying goals, mindful eating, meditation practices, what to ask your doctor when you go, any sort of topic that's relevant, we can do a wellness workshop on that. And then also as a pharmacist, I am licensed in Maryland and Virginia, so I can do medication review for people that live in Maryland and Virginia.
I think that's such a good, I don't even say nice to have, but sometimes people, feel intimidated going to the doctor, or they're not getting the care that they need. So it definitely fills in a gap.
Yeah.
Because you spoke to the microaggressions in corporate, and I hear and see a lot of people post on LinkedIn about that. But like, what are some of the things that you experience where you're just like, it's just like, I have a list.
You see me look directly at the
You're
camera?
like, I have a list. Well, I only bring that because as Black women, like, I'm sure there are some women, you may be in a position where they're just like, I don't even know if that was, I've even dealt with some stuff. I'm like, was that you question because you know your worth, you know how good you are. So what are some of the things that you experienced where you were just like, enough is enough, and it's really time to better myself?
I think one would be talking about my facial expressions. Why do I look a certain way during a meeting? I'm paying attention. Yeah. So it's either I look too serious or I look too bored. 2, I don't think I was ever able to fully toot my own horn or pat myself on the back. I was very good at what I did, but I couldn't say that because then that would make other people uncomfortable. And then 3, it was hard being the only Black pharmacist in my position amongst, everybody else. And then there were other Black people that worked at the organization. So it was how do I fit into the role within my department, but then also seem relatable to the other Black people in the organization? Because you still want to have that camaraderie. Right. And so I just got tired of like not being able to be myself. And I was like, see ya, gotta go. So I just got tired of being called in by HR or having to, yes, that last year, I was just like, if they pull one more thing on me, I'm done. And they did.
Oh, so they were not trying to get you. They were trying to get you for everything.
They were trying to get me for everything. And it got to be where at the end, I felt like they were just making stuff up.
Or it sounds like they were trying to find a way to push you out.
Yeah, they were trying to find a way to push me out. And one thing that I'm always going to be cognizant of is I want to leave on my own terms. I want to control my own narrative. And so that's where my faith had to come in. I was like, I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm not coming back here. So I think they were surprised when I left because I think that they thought they could just keep doing what they were doing. And I was like, no. And then the funny thing about that was when I left, I didn't know where I was going. And so I didn't broadcast that. I just was just like, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. And so even after I left, they still, for like, I want to say 6 or 7 months, they still tried to figure out what I was doing.
And what did them trying to figure out what you knew look like?
Go on LinkedIn. And so you can see.
LinkedIn snitches on everybody.
LinkedIn is sneaky.
LinkedIn will snitch because it'll be like, so-and-so viewed your profile. I'm like, it tells on everybody's business. Yeah. It really does. Like if you're trying to stalk somebody, you can't do it on LinkedIn.
I purposely went dark. I would say I left in January. I think I purposely went dark on LinkedIn for maybe like 3 or 4 months because I knew I needed my own privacy. And I still kept my page active. But whenever I would log on, I would see so-and-so from your previous organization has viewed your profile. Or I would get like just like texts like, hey, do you want to meet up for? Nope, no. I don't.
Because they're trying to get intel.
Yep, I do not. And so when I reemerged back on LinkedIn and sort of shared, now I'm enrolled in health coaching and I've started my own business. I think that kind of, shut it down. But I honestly believe that 1, they were trying to figure out like where I went, and 2, would I change my mind and come back? No. The answer to that is no. Because at that point, it was almost like being in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
So and that's what people fail to realize. Work is a relationship. You don't have to stay there just because you get a paycheck. Like, I would not advise any of my friends that are dating someone that's like being emotionally abused by them to stay in that. Same thing. If you feel like your mental health is taking a toll on you in your corporate environment, you have every right to formulate a plan and create the exit strategy and leave. And that's what I did. So I started off by using my FMLA, and we can talk about that too.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
While we still have FMLA. So what people fail to realize is everybody gets FMLA, 12 weeks of FMLA every year.
And to explain to people what that is.
So it's Family Medical Leave Act. So a lot of times people use it for parental leave. So if you have a kid, you use it for, maternal or paternal leave. But as a normal person, you can use it if you're going to have surgery, you got a sick mom, dad, you need to take some time off. I used it for mental health. So you have to have documentation from your doctor. And thank God that I was able to find a Black woman doctor that totally understood what I was going through. And she was like, where's the form? What do you need to sign?
I will sign.
Yeah, she was like, what do you need to sign?
Right.
So you get 12 weeks a year. I took off 6 in 2023. Okay. So it was February. I took it off mid-February and came back in April, just so I could just reset and just sort of see what I needed to do. The thing about FMLA is that it's not paid, so you have to have your finances in order. But the way that mine was able to work was I was able to use my sick time towards my FMLA, so I still got paid. Nice. So I was able to play the game and take time off and really decide what I wanted to do. So within 3 days of me being off, I knew that I didn't want to go back. I was like,
didn't take long.
No, it did not. Yes. And so I was like, okay, I don't have the financial stability right now to just up and leave, but let me start saving some funds, looking at money differently, put some things away. So if I were to leave and be without an income, can I still pay my rent?
Right.
Can I still, pay my tithe, like all that stuff, and go on about my merry way? And that's what I did. So when I went back to work in April, I started being more strategic about what I did with my paycheck. I started moving files off work computers, off onto my personal drive,
Get your personnel files and all that stuff that you need.
All these things, slowly cleaning out my office. It was very strategic. So that way, when it came time for me to actually leave, I have like a little grocery basket that I cleaned.
And that was it.
That was it. And I walked out, and they, they were all shocked. And so I was like, yeah.
They're like, They're like, why was she able to leave so quickly?
Because you have to have a plan. So I would say definitely, really assess what you want, and then use the resources that are at your disposal and be strategic with it. You got to be smart with it. So again, if I knew that I was going to be without a paycheck for a while, maybe you stop getting your nails done. Maybe you start washing your hair at home. Maybe you cook more at home and, stop door dashing everything. So those are the small changes that you make over time that can help you find your peace and your stability later on.
Well, I love that for you.
Yeah.
I do. I didn't know it was so bad.
Oh, yeah. And no one knows. And I think, the more I tell that story, people always say that. They're like, I didn't know that that's what you were going through. But I think that's where, 1, I'm a private person. 2, as Black women, we know we like to just keep everything here. And you're just supposed to just, soldier through it and toughen through it. But I think I just started gaining weight. I think my hair started to change. I was angry all the time. And so several people in my life, including my therapist, were like, you got to go. Like, this is not healthy.
Now, it's bad when your therapist tells you
she said
it's time to go. Because normally they're like, they want you to figure out, want you to figure out the decision on your own. But if your therapist says it's time to go, it's time to go.
She was like, we've been talking about this for 2 years.
Ooh.
It's time. You need to make a decision, and you're never going to get where you want to be in life if you stay in this position. Wow. And that's what I was like, well, dang. Okay.
Not reading. She's like, she read me for Phil. But she's right.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes you need to hear the truth. Yeah. And so I think when she said that, I was like, okay, Lord, give me a sign. And he gave me a sign. It was like one more call into HR. And I was like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. It's time to go.
Well, you made it to the other side.
Yeah, we did.
When you left originally, because I know it's scary to decide, okay, like, you need to leave. Like, Lord, we can't stay anymore. but then you're also like, but where are we going?
Yeah.
So what was that first, couple months when you were fully into Moves with Melanie? Like, what were you experiencing? Now you're self-employed. Now you're responsible, for your income, and you got to figure out this plan. What was those first few months like after you left?
It was a roller coaster. I would say all of 2024 was a roller coaster. I think, again, you look at money differently. And I would say just setting up a business is a lot of work in itself. So I started looking at other female entrepreneurs, having conversations with them. My sister owns her own law practice. And so I would always have calls with my attorney. I still have calls with my attorney.
Listen, use your resources, okay?
Yeah.
Use your
and
resources.
So she would walk me through some things. She hooked me up with her accountant. So I would talk to her accountant, other friends that are doing their own thing. And then you just kind of have to put yourself out there and just do it. So I would give myself deadlines. So March 1st, I was like, you have to submit your LLC paperwork to the state of Maryland on this day.
And I'm gonna tell you, Maryland's quick.
Yeah.
So we delay a lot of stuff, and then you submit it like a week later. They're like, you're like, you have a business.
Yeah, on the website, they said it was gonna take like 6 to 8 weeks.
No.
It took like 2.
Exactly. Maryland is fast.
Yeah.
They've made their process efficient.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so doing that, and then just keeping track of all the things you have to do for like your tax forms. I have to get liability insurance, and so just all that stuff, all the finances, and then also marketing yourself. So I started a TikTok account, which is like the Wild Wild West, and so just all of that, and then just I think put your feet to the pavement and just start hustling. So having smart conversations with people. So what resources can I use that I already have at my disposal? So of my Zumba ladies, what can I start to talk to them about? With my Pure Barre clients, what can I start to talk to them about? And then I actually led a fitness retreat last year. So nice. I had been asked to do a fitness retreat years ago, and I kept saying no. Because I just didn't, imposter syndrome, and I just didn't want to give the corporate job one more thing to like come after me about.
But it was outside of work.
But they be making stuff up. Making stuff up.
They're like, yeah.
And so
they're like, you were supposed to be at a conference, not at a retreat.
Yeah. And so that was like one of the first conversations I had was like after I turned in my resignation, I reached back out to the company. I was like, okay, so my situation has changed. Yes. So now I can do this retreat. And so that opened up a whole new set of doors of just clientele, ways to market myself, test myself in regards to what I can offer. And just have fun. Like that's the kind of work travel I want to do, not a conference. Like send me to Mexico.
It's like not a conference in a cold state in the middle of winter.
Let's go look at the beach and stretch. So it was an up and down roller coaster. It takes a lot of grit, a lot of time and energy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm more tired than I was in corporate America, but I'm more passionate about what I'm doing. So I don't mind getting up at like 5, 6 in the morning and just hammer some things out before I got to go teach. Or, sitting there watching basketball, typing something up, working on a website, doing all that stuff. But because it's on my own terms, right. And it's not going to happen unless I do it.
Right.
So
that is true. What do you think is so we're a year in now. What do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned in this year?
Oh, you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith in yourself and you get out of your own way. So I think going back to imposter syndrome, I don't look the part of a traditional, health person. I still have, I have a normal sized body. I still have jiggles and wiggles, so like, so getting over that.
Yeah.
And then just talking myself out of things, so like I said, I started a TikTok account, but then it took me a while to like make a video. I was like, Melanie, you just put a video out there. Ain't nobody paying attention. Just do it. Just do it. Same thing with just, again, leading the retreat. How do I market myself? How do I advertise things like that? And what I found was the more you share your story, the more people are actually betting on you to win. They want you to win. And you find your cheerleaders from people that you least expect them from. Like, I didn't even know you were paying attention. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
And also not only do they want you to win, but, oh, let me help you out. I've got a resource, or I've got someone that you can talk to. So I feel like that's how a lot of my opportunities so far have come to fruition. It's because someone knows someone and they can help you out, and we just all want to see you succeed. Yeah. So having faith and getting out of your own way.
Thank you. That's good advice. Because as we were talking before offline, I was like, 2025 been rough. And I think I've gotten in my own way too, because I'm like, I know I'm supposed to send this email. I know I've been supposed to reach out to this. I think part of it is fear of doing it, and then there's also fear that it could actually work.
Yes.
So like it's twofold, right? Yes. Because we're so comfortable and where we are right now, it's like in our minds, we envision X, Y, and Z. But what does it take to actually do that?
Yeah.
And what if it actually works?
Yeah. No. So it's like, it's the fear of rejection. That's what you like. But then you're like, yeah, okay. So then what if it works? Then I'm gonna have to do.
And then it's the fear of them like actually saying yes.
Yes.
Actually getting that partnership.
Yes.
Actually getting that opportunity. Then I actually have to show up and do it.
And like, how am I gonna manage my time?
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, you haven't done anything because you haven't sent the email yet. So what? Like the hardest part is just send.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
Because even with this podcast, I'm like, I think my dad asked me, he's like, how do you get people to sit down and talk to you? I'm like, half the people I've talked to so far, I'm like, I actually know them. We've had a working relationship, but at the end of the day, it's advertising for people. Like it's getting my job. I feel like it's use my platform to get other people business out there because there's so many of us in the world. You don't know every brand. You don't know every business. So I'm trying to do my part, but I'm like, more people are willing to say yes, I think, than we actually think.
Yeah.
Like we just have to, if we got our own way and just went forward, because the worst that can happen is that they say no or it just doesn't work.
Well, then also I think what I've also found is people have been wanting to say yes to an opportunity, but they're waiting for the correct opportunity. So I feel like a lot of people, like for you, example, like they want to be on a podcast, but maybe they don't feel comfortable talking to just anyone.
That's true.
But like they will feel comfortable talking to another Black woman or another, someone that's of their own age. So like I've had people that have participated in some of my events that have been wanting to, get started on their health and wellness journey, but they just needed the right person, someone that looked like them, someone that could motivate them and make them feel comfortable.
Or someone who has a similar story, so you understand what they've been going through, and it helps them bring their walls down to actually get the support and help that they need. Yeah. That's a good point. I never thought about that. Yeah. So we're talking about health and wellness. You have 3 areas that people can work with you. What is something everyone can be doing right now to like maintain our, I guess, mental health, physical health, given your background and the experiences you had in corporate, given where we are right now, like what is one thing we all can be doing to kind of help us stay grounded?
I think, well, there's a couple of things. One, I think being honest with yourselves about what your goals are. So what exactly do you want out of life? Just like, if in a perfect world, what are 3 things you want? Yeah. Write those down, write the vision, make it plain, put it on a wall, and just keep that at the forefront of your mind. And then 2, movement works wonders. So it doesn't have to be anything that's super complicated, super long. Even if you just want to go outside and take a 5-minute walk around the block.
Get some fresh air.
Get some fresh air, even in the cold weather. Get some fresh air. I've started going downstairs to the gym in my building and just doing 15-minute walks on the treadmill. Put on a playlist and just reset. Stretch. Take deep breaths. Find some sort of meditation or quiet time where you can just listen to yourself. I think those are the things that could help you get the groundwork settled. The other thing would be watching what you're consuming, not just through social media or media, but just we got to take care of ourselves in regards to our diet. Yeah. Protein, fruits, vegetables. It sounds very simple, but with everything that's going on now, it's real easy to I want to grab this glass of wine. Let me light up. Let me sit here with this bag of popcorn, have an Olivia Pope, dinner. But I think we have to really be cognizant of what are we fueling ourselves with, because you want to feel better. And when you feel better, you can make better decisions and take care of yourself.
So I know you're explaining to the people, all of us, what is integrative nutrition? Yeah. So, because I don't know if I've ever heard that term before.
Yeah. So it incorporates not just your physical health, but your spiritual health, your mental health, and your emotional health. So all those things that I just talked about, none, like with the exception of go on a walk, all of that had everything to do with this, and this.
Exactly.
So
I like this, and this. Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're integrating all these different aspects of what makes you a whole person. So spiritual health. Are you a person of faith, or is there anything else that you can tap into? Meditation practice, breathing exercises, something that helps you stay grounded. Yeah. Mental health. Find someone to talk to, even if it's not a therapist. Just find someone that you could trust, that you can just have open and honest conversations with. And then emotional health. Cry if you need to, laugh if you need to, go see a movie, binge watch a show. Like they just put A Different World on Netflix.
They sure did.
I'm slowly making my way through it for like the millionth time. I haven't seen every episode.
Exactly.
It's like those. I watched it this morning before I came here.
You watch it like it's new every time.
Every time.
I do too. Yeah.
Every time. But it makes me happy. It takes me back to like being a kid. So find something that brings you that little spark of joy and just hold on to that. So as far as health coaching goes, we're just there to help provide accountability. So once let's say I'm working with you, we can have these conversations. You can identify what your goals are, and then we can meet together to help you stay on track. If you are just like, Melanie, I want to get 30 minutes of movement in 3 days a week, let's create a plan to make that happen. I want to get out of my current job and pursue my side hustle as my main hustle. Let's develop a plan. Let's talk about that. So it's less formal than traditional healthcare, but it's more. It's kind of like this, kind of like a podcast. We'll talk about it. Let's make it work. And you are in the driver's seat. I'm just here in the passenger seat, making sure you stay on the road.
Accountability coach, basically. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. But
yeah.
But I think it's so needed though, because a lot of times our health is segmented, and so you address one thing over here, but it really is all
it's integrated. You gotta put it together.
It's all connected and integrated. So I love that. And one of the things you talked about in the winter, I think you did a blog, and you might have done content about it too, like foods we should be incorporating going to the winter season. As we turn slowly into spring, are there anything or any foods that we should be incorporating into the new season?
Yeah, I would say more along the lines of you want to get those spring fruits and vegetables. So I would say more still green leafy vegetables, but more like arugula, lighter things, strawberries, berries, all those things that you would see that are going to be produced during this time of year. Drinking your orange juice, having your lemonade, things that make you happy, things that spark joy. And you bring up a good point. Our eating is very seasonal. And I think that also ties into how you feel. So like we're filming this in February, it's winter. So we want to have those bulkier, heartier, grounding foods. But when the weather turns and it gets hotter, you want something that's more water. So like the watermelon, drinking your water, flavoring it up so you can, excrete all the good things in life. Yeah.
I was about to say, I feel like I eat all those all year round.
But I think you got to change it up.
I don't know. I'm like, I'll have strawberries in the winter too. Because, I do all of them all year round, but I hear you.
Yeah. I think it's just managing how much you consume. Yeah. Because I've started doing that. Like that was one thing I learned about in health coaching. I was like, seasonal eating. What is that?
Yeah, because when you said that, I was like, but I eat that in the winter and the spring. And the summer.
No, but I think it's the amount and then just having fun with it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Diversify what's on the plate. So this is a selfish question because I will be 40 this year.
Oh,
so
welcome.
In literally 2 weeks of this recording. Literally 2 weeks. I know I don't look it. But
black don't crack. You're good.
Listen, so a lot of myself and a lot of my friends, I think we're pretty much everyone except maybe one or two are all turning 40 this year.
Yeah.
What are some vitamins and supplements we should be taking as we enter this new decade?
Oh my gosh, I just recorded a YouTube video.
Oh, good perfect timing.
Yeah. So I would
we'll share the link to that YouTube video in the comments.
I edited it last night. All right. Yeah. So I think everybody by baseline should be taking a multivitamin because that covers the gamut. Yeah. I think other things, women of our age look into calcium supplementation for your bones, and then probiotics for your gut health. Gotcha. Other things on top of that, really, if at this age, you need to go to the doctor and just get your blood work done. Because I think we get a lot of misinformation from social media because you see your favorite influencer taking like 60 vitamins and you're like, well, I should be doing that because I'm going to look like her. No, you're not. Okay, you have different genetics and you have different diets. So get your basic metabolic panel, and then your doctor can tell you, oh, you need vitamin D, you need to take a vitamin C, your iron, or can you get it from your diet?
Gotcha.
And then I was gonna say something else, but just get mammogram.
Yep.
You're when you go to your doctor this year.
I've already gotten those.
Okay, I was gonna say get that mammogram.
When I was in California, I had to do ultrasounds, and then when I moved back here, the place I go to, my doctor put in a request for ultrasound, and they're like, no, basically, and this was before, I think I was maybe 36, but the place where I went to, I think over 35, they started doing. Okay. They're like, oh no, because of your age, you got to get a mammogram. I was like, but that's not why I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm here for they're like, we understand, but here, because of your age, you got to get a mammogram. Yeah. So they started. So at first I was upset, but then I was like, you know what? I shouldn't be mad because y'all are doing preventive screening, and we hear more and more stories of people getting breast cancer younger age of 40. So I was like, you know what? I wasn't mapping this because I was like, I didn't want to be here this long, but I appreciate y'all.
No, it's same thing. Like when I remember the first time I went to get my OB visit after I turned 40, she said mammogram, and I was like, that's not sexy. Okay, because you think again, you get caught up on like 40 and Fabulous and all these things you see in the movies. Well,
you're gonna be 40 and Fabulous if you're healthy.
Yeah, if you're healthy. Yeah. Right. So I just multivitamin, please go to the doctor, drink your water, and mind your own business.
The keys to a stress-free life: drink your water and mind your own business. So one of the things, and you touched on this before about movement, what are some, besides walking, are there any other ways that we can be a little bit more mobile? Because a lot of people, we sit a lot at work. We sit all day, sit on the weekends. Like, we do a lot of sitting as a society. Mm-hmm. So besides taking time, going for a walk maybe a couple times a week, are there anything else that we can do to be more mobile and get our blood flowing?
Yeah, I would say stretching too.
Okay.
Especially this time of year with it being so cold. Stretching, and then doing, I don't know if you have like a Theragun or some sort of like massage activity, really getting all of that gunk from when you're sitting down out of your joints, out of your system. Nothing like a good knee crack, ankle crack to kind of like get the juices going. So I would say stretching and then breathing exercises. That could help with your nervous system, keep everything nice and calm.
So when you do your classes, are they only in person, or are you also doing them virtually?
I teach classes. Yeah, so I teach Zumba virtually only. Okay. Like, my ladies never wanted to go back in person. Like,
really?
Yeah, they never did. So I taught at Washington Sports Club for 7.5 years. We went virtual, and then I've held a couple of in-person Zumba classes. Like, I'll do events and stuff like that. Yeah. But they like the convenience of doing it in the living room. So that's why I say we do dancing in the living room. And then Pure Barre is in person, and then my bar fusion classes are also in person. So, and then I also started teaching employee wellness classes at Montgomery College. Nice. So I can do whatever the person wants. We learned a lot in 2020 with Zoom and technology. We did. What a time! Who knew that was 5 years ago?
It went by so fast.
It did. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
What was one of the other things I wanted to ask you too? You have a retreat coming up, right, in May?
Yeah, I have two.
Tell us about these retreats.
Yeah, so in May 2nd through 5th, we're doing a women's wellness weekend in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So that's 2 hours away from DC, 45 minutes outside of Philly. And we're doing a property takeover of the bed and breakfast. So we're going to have the property all to ourselves. It's going to be 2 fitness classes a day. So we will be doing some Zumba outside, and then some doing all the stretching and the breathing, and then just time with women, like-minded women. We're going to go to the winery. We're going to have some free time, some journaling. You can sleep if you need to.
Right.
Our meals are going to be taken care of, and just relax. Like, we're all going through it in one way or another.
We really are.
And we need to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And I think there's also a power in community.
Yes.
So realizing that you can have open conversations and realize that you're not the only one going through it. Tears will be shed. Like, again, I just said a cleansing cry. Yeah, a cleansing cry.
A good cleansing
cry. A cleansing cry.
Yes.
So that's going to be in May. And I think spring is a perfect time, as we wrap up the school year, right before Mother's Day, graduation season. And then in October, we are going to Morocco. So we're doing magic and movement. I've never been to Africa. I'm very excited about it. So we're going to do 3 days in Marrakesh and then 4 days out in the countryside. Same thing. magic, movement, and then with it being in Africa, we're gonna do some culture. So camel rides, going to the markets, doing some hiking, and just again, that's the type of work travel that I want.
You're like, I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
Where do you want to see Moves with Melanie in like 5 years?
Ooh. I just want to increase my platform and my reach. So I would love to have something like this, like take what I'm doing on YouTube and make it a little more formal. I would love to be connected with one of the local news stations and do wellness education, wellness minutes, because again, I think a lot of people have questions. They just don't know who to ask, or they're afraid to ask.
I have a contact for you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I know someone who used to work at Fox. She's not there anymore, but she's the reason I was able to do the style segment.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Because you did like Great Day Washington and all that.
Yeah, I did
stuff.
like 3 style segments when I was a stylist. Yeah. I have some. I'm sure she has some contacts still there. Yeah. So yeah, after this, I got you. Yeah.
So I think just increasing the platform, just because I want to educate people, and then I want to give people the tools they need to be successful and just to take better care of themselves.
Yeah.
That would be, I'm always talking about, I want to give people the ability to create a framework so they can succeed. That's what I want. It's just increase my platform so you can increase yours, and so we can just take the best care of ourselves that we can.
I love that for you. Well, before we wrap up, we have rapid fire questions.
Oh, yes.
This is the fun part.
Hey, I'm ready.
This is the fun. Well, actually, one of the things I want to ask you too before we do this, what is your health ritual? What does your routine look like? Because you do help people, figure out their routine, like, their mental, physical, spiritual health. But what does that look like for you in the day or days?
I think I am very big on having both a morning routine and an evening routine.
Okay.
So in the morning, I do have my quiet time. I use my Bible app and I do my daily devotion. I drink my morning water with my fiber supplements. And then I have my breakfast. Make sure you eat a lot of people skip breakfast. No, please eat breakfast.
Yeah,
eat breakfast. Seasonally appropriate food. So again, it's winter now. I'm eating a lot of oatmeal and with fruit on top with my coffee. And those are probably like the main things that I do every day. Just take like 30 minutes to yourself. On the flip side, in the evening, I like to do like a kitchen clean down. So make sure all my dishes are washed, or at least put in the dishwasher, drink my tea, take like 10 minutes just to read a book, and then get to bed at a reasonable time. Like I sleep with my eye mask on, I have my white noise, and I take that very seriously. So I think I like to bookend my days with those just times for myself, and that kind of helps things flow a little bit better during the day.
I need to do better at an evening routine, because I always say I'm going to do that, and then I look up and I'm like, oh, it's bedtime, and I need to go to, even though I have on my phone, you can set your sleep, so like this is supposed to be your hour to like wind down. Yeah, I'm supposed to like go upstairs, get ready for bed, and I'll be sitting right here on the couch. Still, scrolling or watching TV, and I'm like, girl, the reason you have the wind down on your phone is so that you can have a routine.
And then also, I put my phone on do not disturb after a certain hour, because I don't need to know the alerts. I don't need, like, if my family needs me, they can just call twice.
Well, I have their phone numbers listed as favorites, and then. Yeah, I think I have certain people listed as favorites. So if you call me after, then I know it's an emergency. Yeah. But I have my do not disturb on too. I'm like, don't wake me up in the middle of the night. No,
please
thank
don't.
You. No. It's already hard enough trying to get a good night's sleep. Like I do not need interruptions. Yeah. But yes, let's get in. These are random.
Okay.
I just threw in here. We'll do a few.
Okay.
Okay.
Not scared.
You're not scared. Beach vacation or a city exploration?
Oh, beach vacation all the way.
I love the beach.
Yeah, let me just lay and listen to the wave. Let the waves be on my feet and read a book in the sun. Done.
Listen, my family and I will go to the beach, and my dad would be like, "Where's Keri?" My mom like, "You already know."
Yeah,
I'll be out there a couple hours before they come out there, and that's funny because when I was younger, we would go to the beach, but I wouldn't be out there maybe 2-3 hours. My mom would be out there longer. Now they'll leave me out there, and I'll be out there all day. Like, I love it. Like,
see y'all later.
And I'm a Pisces too, so maybe that's why.
Yeah,
I love being by the water.
Yeah,
I understand. What is the best concert you've ever gone to?
Oh, Beyonce. We were just talking.
Well, which one? She has multiples.
As good as Renaissance was,
yes,
I think it was On the Run, the one they had in 2018. It was her and Jay-Z.
Yeah, I went to that one too. Yeah, that one was good. Just
the two of them combined,
and her outfits were really good for that one.
Yes, too. She could do no wrong. He could do no wrong. Just
so y'all know where she'll be this summer
exactly.
at the Beyonce concert.
July 7th. What?
Listen, she said July 7th. You know where she'll be. What's one of your favorite hobbies?
Oh, one of my favorite hobbies. Let's see. I can do fitness related and non-fitness related.
Yes.
Non-fitness related, anything related to Bravo TV. So I like.
You're a Bravo girl.
I am a Bravo girl. I went to BravoCon.
Did you?
In 2022 when it was in New York. It was amazing.
Really?
It was because it was before. I went to the one when it was in New York.
Okay.
And so before it was like BravoCon.
Yeah.
But like I got to see all the Bravo celebrities.
Yeah.
I was just living my best life that weekend. And then fitness related, I love taking a good spin class. I like being told what to do. So as much as I'd spend being in charge, somebody tell me what to do so I can shut my brain off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. One more. You're a Bravo girl. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. But yeah, this is my guilty pleasure too. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't know. I think it would probably be, it wouldn't be a song. It'd be something rapping. Like, probably something related to Jay-Z. Like, On to the Next One is probably my favorite one of his songs. Yes. So I'd probably do that. Like,
I love that. I love that. Well, what we will do for everyone who's listening and watching, we're going to put the links to those retreats that you mentioned because one is in May, one is in October. Y'all, we need some rest and relaxation, okay? Rest and joy is our resistance. Amen. So we need those. Let everyone know where they can find you so they can connect with you on either it's fitness classes, nutrition coaching, pharmacy, reviewing meds. If you're in Maryland or Virginia, let us know where we can get in
my
touch.
website is mymoveswithmelanie.com. So mymoveswithmelanie.com.
Yes, product placement right here. Get a mug. Get a cup.
Or just follow me on social media at @moveswithmelanie. Send me a message. I do respond. And we'll just go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. This was fun.
It was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Everyone who comes are like, this was fun. I'm like, I hope it was. I hope you had a good time. And I was excited to hear your story because I knew you left, but I did not know why.
Girl, that was therapeutic. Thank you.
I did not know why. And so I'm just like, because I hear people talk about it all the time, but you never hear like the personal stories about what is happening in corporate. We just know that corporate America for a Black woman is not the best or the safest space.
Yeah, so. And I think I'm far enough removed from it now where I can talk about it. Had it been like a year ago, I'm like, no.
Yeah. And I think it's an important story to be heard because I think we're also at a pivotal time, just like with COVID, when everyone was reevaluating like what it is I want to do, where I want to be. I think given everything that's happening, I think we're also at another point where people are reevaluating again. So you got to make decisions like,
we got to that word we learned in 2020, pivot. We got to do it again.
I think we're in another pivot season where people are really reevaluating what decisions they want to make, how they can strategize to do that. And so you sharing your story and telling how you did that, I think it would be really, really helpful.
Yeah. So. Yeah. If we want to talk about that some more, send me a message.
Yes. Send her, connect with, I'll give you her LinkedIn too. So y'all can send her a DM.
Send me a message. We can have a conversation and, I'll coach you through it.
Yes. Look, you've been there, so you can help somebody else. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. I want to hear what you guys think about these episodes as they continue to come out and come along. So I will catch you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Kickback with Keri podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Kickback with Keri is available wherever you get your podcasts.